On a cold, snowy Christmas Eve, the little village of Everpine was blanketed in a sparkling layer of snow. The streets were adorned with twinkling lights, and wreaths hung on every door. The air was filled with the scent of pine and the distant melodies of carolers. However, amid the festive cheer, there was a sense of quiet desperation in some corners of the village. Sophia, a kind-hearted woman in her early 30s, had spent the day preparing for the holiday. Her small home was warm and inviting, with a crackling fire in the hearth and the aroma of freshly baked cookies wafting through the air. Despite her modest means, Sophia had always believed in the magic of Christmas and the importance of giving. Her late grandmother had instilled this value in her, often saying, "Christmas is not about what you have, but what you share." As evening fell, Sophia noticed a faint glow coming from the window of the old, decrepit house at the end of the street. It was the home of Mr. Grayson, an elderly widower who rarely ventured out. Rumors had spread about his gruff demeanor, but Sophia suspected that loneliness was the true cause of his isolation. Feeling a tug at her heart, Sophia decided to pay him a visit. She packed a basket with cookies, a small loaf of bread, and a jar of her homemade jam. Wrapping herself in a thick scarf and coat, she trudged through the snow to his door. She hesitated for a moment before knocking, wondering if he would even answer. The door creaked open, and Mr. Grayson appeared, his eyes narrowing as he looked at her. "What do you want?" he asked gruffly. "Merry Christmas, Mr. Grayson," Sophia said warmly. "I brought you some treats. I thought you might like some company tonight." He hesitated, his expression softening ever so slightly. "Come in then," he muttered. Stepping aside, Sophia entered the dimly lit house, which was sparsely furnished and lacked the festive decorations that adorned the rest of the village. She set the basket on the table and began to unpack it. "I hope you don't mind," she said. "I just thought no one should be alone on Christmas." Mr. Grayson watched her quietly, his stern facade slowly melting. "Thank you," he said finally, his voice gruff but sincere. "It's been a long time since anyone cared." As they shared the treats and talked, Sophia learned about Mr. Grayson's past, his wife, who had passed away many years ago, and the children who had moved far away. He spoke of his regrets and the loneliness that had consumed him. In turn, Sophia shared stories of her grandmother and the lessons she had learned about kindness and generosity. Meanwhile, across the village, a group of children had gathered to organize a Christmas surprise. They had noticed that not everyone in Everpine was as fortunate, and they wanted to spread joy to those who might be struggling. Led by a spirited boy named Liam, they collected food, warm clothes, and small gifts from their neighbors. The community came together, each contributing what they could. By the time the children reached Sophia's house, they found her and Mr. Grayson walking back from his home. The sight of the children carrying their bundles of goodwill brought tears to Sophia's eyes. "What are you all up to?" she asked. "We're sharing Christmas with everyone," Liam said proudly. "No one should feel left out." Inspired, Sophia invited the children and Mr. Grayson into her home. Together, they decorated a small tree, sang carols, and shared stories. The warmth and laughter that filled the room were contagious, spreading a sense of unity and love that reached far beyond the walls of Sophia's home. Word of the gathering spread, and soon more villagers joined in, bringing food and decorations. The little house became the heart of Everpine that night, a beacon of what Christmas truly meant. Even those who had once kept to themselves felt the pull of the celebration, realizing the joy that came from being part of a community. As the clock struck midnight, Sophia looked around the room, her heart swelling with gratitude. Mr. Grayson, now smiling and at ease, raised a glass and said, "To Sophia, who reminded us all what Christmas is really about." The room erupted in cheers, and Sophia felt a tear slip down her cheek. It wasn't the gifts or the decorations that made the night special, it was the shared laughter, the open hearts, and the realization that they were stronger together. From that Christmas on, the tradition continued. Every year, the villagers of Everpine came together to celebrate not just the holiday, but the spirit of giving and community that Sophia had reignited. And in the heart of it all, Sophia would always remember her grandmother's words: "Christmas is not about what you have, but what you share."